Hi there, welcome to Mind Power. My name is Lauren. I'm an Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran, served in the Army, in the military police, and because of those experiences, I had a lot of issues after, but I was able to help myself with the help of a lot of different modalities. And so I'm here on YouTube to bring awareness to all these different people and ideas and things that you can do to help downregulate your nervous system so you can live a more peaceful life with less anxiety. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about Dr. Joe's meditations. I know I did a video talking about Dr. Joe, and if you are interested in those meditations, you might have went onto his website and saw the overwhelming amount of meditations that are available and wondered what one is for me and what one does what, or what's best for what. So this is what I'm going to break down for you. So I feel like he has pretty much 3 categories of meditations. And I would say category 1 would be healing and body regulation. And then number 2, preservation. And number 3 would be if you're someone who is trying to attain a mystical experience or maybe create something new. So we'll start with the healing and regulation. I've watched pretty much all of Dr. Joe's testimonial videos on YouTube, and I've noticed common themes, and I've also tried a lot of his meditations. And it's frustrating when you buy a meditation and you end up not liking it because there's no refunds. So hopefully this helps you. But again, this is just from what other people have found worked for them and what I found that worked for me. We are all different, and we're all going to resonate with something different as well. So for healing, I would always start with the blessings of the energy centers. So I got the 3-pack, and there's a series of these. They go up to like 5 or 6 different meditations. I just got the basics 1, 2, and 3. Now that was a nice package because in Blessings 1, it will teach you all about your energy centers and what body parts, organs, and hormones they regulate. So it gives you a really good understanding, and it also is good practice when doing that meditation to learn how to connect with each energy center, because you will be focusing on that energy center for a few minutes. So over time, and the more you do this, you will start to feel differences in the energy centers just by relaxed, open awareness. For example, when I focus on my root, my lower energy center, I feel stable. Now, if I'm focusing on my heart energy center, I will start to feel love, and I will start to feel that, oxytocin and those hormones flood into my bloodstream. So they all kind of feel a little different, especially when you apply the intention behind them. Now, number 2, this is where you start to go a little deeper with that, and you will apply the intention and build your feeling with that. Now, if you're somebody who already is pretty familiar with the energy centers, your chakras as they are known in some other cultures, you can start with the Blessings of the Energy Centers 3. This is one of my favorite ones, and I try to do this one once a week. And what this one focuses on, same thing, you're going to focus on your energy center, and then you're going to pick a symbol, which could be a word or, a tree, like a symbol for like the root to feel like rooted and grounded in your body. Now, you would feel what that would feel like what would it feel like if I was rooted and grounded and stable in my body. You know, how would that feel? And then you try to make yourself feel that emotion. And then when you start to feel that emotion that you want to bring up, you're rewriting this invisible like coding that we can't see with our human eyes. And you're starting to program that energy center with what it is that you want. You know, maybe you don't know what you want. Balance is always a great one to go to. You know, just to balance the energy out, you know. And I love these because like that's all I did when I was sick. I did this one every day. Dr. Joe has a nice introductory video with his meditations. So, you know, it explains how to do it. And that's nice. Now there's a breath that comes with these meditations. And I don't think it's in the first one, but I know it's definitely in the third one. And I'll be honest with you, I did not like the breath. The whole purpose of the breath is to bring the energy from the base of your spine and pump it up to the top of your head. And what this does is, so we store a lot of energy down in here. You know, these energy centers are responsible for creation of human life, digestion. You know, both of those are just huge, right? So there's a lot of energy down there. And the thought behind this is you bring the energy up and you're kind of powering up these other energy centers. And also, if you're someone who kind of gets tired, or maybe you're doing this first thing in the morning, like I do at 5 in the morning, this will give you energy and it will help you stay awake through your meditations. So why I didn't like the breath at first. When I first started this, I was a complete wreck with everything, health-wise and mind-wise. And I didn't understand what was happening. And so I would feel worse after my meditations. It was like, I'm already waking up very anxious. Now I do the breath and the meditation, and now I'm done. And now I'm even more anxious. I feel like I'm not even grounded. Like I'm not even connected to the ground. Like I'm just kind of floating on top of it. I've had experiences where I had like intense fear come up, and I'm just sitting there and I can feel it. I can feel it flooding in my body, and I'm just like, oh, this is like really weird. And I didn't like it. It freaked me out. Like I'm doing this to feel better, not to feel worse. And so I stopped, and I actually stopped these meditations and went to shorter ones until I learned more information on what was happening. And basically what happens when you do this type of work, this like breath, and then the focuses on the energy centers, is trauma gets stored in your cells, in your body, right? It just lives there. And that's why we could have some really terrible thing that happened to us in our 20s, and it's not even showing up till our 40s because it's still in our cells, even though we think we got over it or it was so long ago. You know, it took all them years to create a problem because we never fully released that issue. So what was happening is this is releasing that energy out of these centers. And so I was releasing stored fear that I probably had from the war. And, you know, I never had that experience again. And I did go back to the energy center, you know, work once I learned more and was like, oh, I don't have to be scared of this. You know, nothing is wrong. This is a good thing to get this anxiety out and get the fear out and just push it out of the body. Yeah, it feels uncomfortable. And when that happens, you just simply sit with it and be like, if you tell yourself, oh, this is a good thing, I'm releasing this energy, it will shift. It will shift out of your body. Don't fight it. Just let it be. Tell yourself what's going on so you feel okay about it, and it will release. And it's such a great thing. And the other energy center meditation I really like is Blessing of the Energy Centers 4. Now this one is slightly different than the third because it's more used for a tune-up, like preservation. So say you've healed whatever health condition you have, but like you're traveling and you weren't really doing your meditations and you just kind of feel off. This is an excellent one to do. Also has the breath, but it works more with the field around your body and a coherent brain and heart. So I always feel like I'm just giving myself an extra boost with it. Plus, I really like how I feel at the end of this one. I'll get kind of very like tingly and electrical feeling in my body. I'll feel like my toes just like expand and relax, and it's just a really good feeling afterwards. Now, if you're doing these meditations and you are having things come up that are very uncomfortable, like physical and mental symptoms, it's a lot of energy that you're working with. And if you're not used to it, it's gonna, you're releasing stuff that's been in there for decades, right? The best thing you can do is just lay down, maybe take a nap, but just lay down and let all that work that you did just kind of settle in. Or go outside. Nature's also very grounding and can help settle that energy back down. So what else do we have here? Changing boxes. I have this meditation. I was not a huge fan of it, but it is mentioned a lot within the community. And how this meditation works is basically, say I'm sick and I'm dealing with gastritis, for instance. I want to get out of that box and then get into a new box where I don't have this condition. This has worked great for a lot of people. It didn't resonate with me. I'll say that. We have Count Your Blessings. So this is one of his new ones. And I love this one. It's expensive. It's $250 for this set of meditations. But I think you get 12 meditations, and there's instructions for each one. What this does is it breaks down the whole meditation by an energy center. So you get to pick. So for instance, I had this weird lump thing on my lymph node, and my throat was just felt kind of messed up for a while. So I took a whole week or two and I did nothing but the focus on the energy center for the throat. And I think it's like 25-minute meditation. Some of the other energy centers are 30 minutes to 35 minutes. By doing this, you're putting a lot more time and emphasis just on that center. So we know what we think about, that's where our energy goes. So now I'm just like focused on bringing balance and healing to this, and that's all I'm doing. And I found that to work very well. Did get the lump checked out. It was nothing, and it's completely gone now. So I use this one a lot because I feel like there's always something with my body that I need to release, whether, I had a hard workout and I'm hurting somewhere, or, I'm just like, maybe I got in an argument with somebody, so I'll work on the heart. If I don't really know what to work on, I always pick the heart or brain, because the heart, I feel as humans, we have been conditioned to shut it down. Like it's almost like we're dormant because we're so in competition with each other. We're living in survival, and it's closed off. When you're living in survival, you don't have the energy to love and give and be in joy because you're surviving. So all your energy is down here in these first two centers. So I love that one. I love it. It's so worth the money, especially if you have a health condition that only affects one part of the body. You can just really hammer away at that. And it's recommended after you do these, you can do them all. You could do one, two, however you feel. But he says to lay down after so the energy, does whatever it needs to do. Do I? No, because I'll probably pass back out. I do plan on doing this in the fall. I'm going to try this in the evening when I have some more extra time, and it'll be okay if I fall asleep. I'm just going to do it before bed and see, if my results get any better. Another great, okay, I'm going to move on to preservation. So if you don't have any health conditions, or I think everybody has a little bit of something, but you feel generally like pretty good in life, but maybe you just want to feel better, right? I recommend the morning and evening meditations. And he has two versions of this. I have both of them. I actually like the older one better, but once again, it's just preference. And so you do one in the morning. I believe it's 20 minutes. And this helps you set up your day. So you're not just sitting there and like listening to this music and just blanking out. You're focusing your mind once again, and you're thinking about like, how do I want to behave? How am I going to act today? Things like that. And then you think about how you're not going to react. Maybe you're somebody who gets really fired up, with bad drivers and traffic. Well, that's not good to you. You're releasing stress hormones and you're down regulating your body. Yeah, once in a while, that's totally fine. But if we're constantly like pissed off about this, stressed about that, this is irritating us, and this is a consistent thing, then you're over time, decades, you're down regulating your body, because that's not healthy for you. You're releasing a lot of cortisol, which it can be very inflammatory and damaging. So we don't want to be feeling these things all the time. So this basically will train you throughout your day that when you catch yourself acting in a way that's not good for you, it doesn't feel good, then you're going to be like, oh, you catch it, instead of just going in the loop that you're so used to do. Like we don't, most of us don't even notice what we're doing. We're just boom, that's the reaction. That's what it is. There's no thought behind it. Well, this will stop you, and you can think like, oh, well, maybe I didn't want to say that. And it works, because I used to get pretty frustrated. I have a little boy who's very wild, and dealing with some of the behavior issues, I would like start to fly off the handle. I'm like, whoa, okay, better way to handle this. And I catch myself, and months and months later, I find myself at a very good place where he could be doing something totally insane, and I'm not going to fly off the handle. I'm not going to feel my heart rate increase. I'm able to handle the situation in a very calm way. So those morning and evening meditations are great for that. The evening one, you can do it before bed, and it kind of wraps up the day on like, how did you do? What could have you done better? And you can do that without even doing the meditation. That's kind of what I did, because I typically don't like doing meditations in the evening before bed. I just want to go to sleep. Another good one is love the life you live. I've heard a lot of good things about this one from the community, even in the healing modality. I think it's great for both, because if you don't love your life or your body, then how is that supportive to healing or, progression in your evolution? There's restorative sleep one I've tried. If you're someone who has a hard time sleeping, that could be an option. I did like that one, but once again, I'm kind of not into the evening meditations. There's generating abundance. That's a great one. Like you can kind of program yourself to think differently. So different ideas will emerge into, into your mind. And the generous present moment, that I've heard a lot about that one. And that one will help you just be in the present moment, because we don't want to be thinking about yesterday. It's done with. It doesn't matter. Who cares, right? And we don't want to be worried about tomorrow, because whatever we're thinking about how this might go, I guarantee you it's probably not going to go in the way, any of the 6 ways that you think about. So what's the point? You're just wasting brain energy. So just enjoy the moment that you are in. The present moment is a present, right? But it's hard when we have a lot on our minds. So this kind of slows all that down, right? All right. And lastly, the other type of meditations, which I have not experimented with very much. I would like to someday, but I always feel like I have something I need to like heal or upgrade in my body. But this would be the mystical and the creative meditations. I have one called The Alchemist, and these ones are usually longer. I think this is an hour and a half. And it's almost like creepy, and the whole style is different. Like, you're not focusing on anything within your body or your life. You're just kind of going out and focusing into the darkness and space and time. And so you can really blank out. And this is when people have reported having mystical experiences. The only mystical experiences I've really had been during the blessings of the energy centers. I had one when I was working with my throat, and that accumulated as of like, I just had really good energy. I really couldn't sleep for like 3 days, but I still had great energy. But I felt very disconnected from Earth and everybody else. I felt like a different person, and I don't know, it was just like weird. Like I felt somehow like I wasn't the same person anymore, not in a bad way, but not in a like, yes, this is awesome way. It just, I kind of felt lost. And how I got out of that, I figured, you know what, I had spent like a week or 2 just doing the throat meditation. So I'm probably a little out of balance in my other energy centers. So I just did the blessings. Boom. Felt way more better afterwards. So that's something to think about as well. Everything in balance. Anything he has with space-time. So your space-time, the pineal gland, which will help you tune into higher dimensions when activated. You can use these meditations if you are interested in having mystical experiences. In a lot of the videos, I've heard people talking about beings coming, like angels, feeling intense love. I've only had like visualizations of really beautiful, vivid colors that I don't see with my eyes open. And I've had like really bright white light, but no like angels or anything I could make out. But there's tons of testimonials with people talking about this stuff. So it's really cool. And I think the more people that do this type of work will make it easier, because we're all in this collective consciousness in this field existing together, and we're all intertwined within it. That like once so many people start having a similar experience, then other people are able to as well. Similar to like race consciousness, where if this country has experienced war for decades and decades and decades, then their consciousness is going to be a lot different than the consciousness of a different country who hasn't had any conflict and is more focused on love and family, if that makes sense. Let's see. If you read any of his books, he does have meditations that come with the books. And I did really enjoy the one, because Break the Habit of Being Yourself. That was a nice one because not only it's very interactive with the book and you're really assessing yourself, which can be kind of hard to be like, oh, what are all the bad things about me? You know, it might even be better to find someone that you really trust, that you're close with, to be like, hey, like, what do you think I could work on to level my life up? Because it's easier for someone else to see you how you are than to see yourself how you are. So I might think I'm just wonderful and fantastic, and then my husband's like, well, no. Like, you're actually like, you get really mad when like I do this one thing or something, or irritated, and I might not even be aware of it. All right, what else do we got here? Yeah, I say like these meditations are amazing. And once you can get through, you know, the material, like, you want to understand what you're doing. If you just go into these and you don't really know why you're doing it, for one, you're probably not going to stick with it. And for two, it's not going to work as well. So just knowing that the whole point of doing these meditations is to lower our fight or flight. Now, when you put intention into the meditations, like when you do something like the blessings of the energy centers, now it's very different, because you got your brain waves slowed down, so you're not in fight or flight, you're in a healing state. Now you're programming these energy centers to do what you do. And then you do this through repetition. And you got to believe it. You got to believe that it's working. And I always show gratitude and love towards each center. So like I will be like, toward the end of that site, I'll be like feeling like love towards my body in that area, and I will thank it for everything that it does for me, even if we're having a hard time. Just show love and appreciation, because that is, you know, the highest vibration is that gratitude. So if we can bring these feelings up, you're up regulating your system by doing so, right? And the people that are really busted up, and as myself, when I was having a lot of issues, I did meditate 2 to 3 hours a day because I couldn't do anything else. And it's the only time I felt, you know, good. It felt better than just dealing with the crap I was dealing with. And I think that's very appropriate for someone who's very stressed out or very scared, very fear-based, going through something, because then you're spending your time training yourself out of that fear. And the more you do this, the better it gets. I've been doing this for 3 years and I like it more and more. It's, you know, I don't meditate every day now. I probably meditate 5 to 6 times a week. And I love it. It's definitely a game changer. I'm not the same person. And I feel like every year you're upgrading yourself. You're opening yourself up to better life experiences. It's great. And let's see, do I have anything else written down that I want to share? Okay, retreats. Yes, I did want to bring that up. So he has retreats. They're meditation retreats. I believe they're 7 days long, where you're pretty much learning and meditating all day. If this is something you can do, go do it. I would love to possibly experience one of these, but I'm not sure I could handle a whole day in a ballroom, sitting in a chair, meditating and learning about stuff. But I'm pretty sure if I did do it, I would probably have a mystical experience because they have this device that measures the energy in the room and it's off the charts. All kinds of people are having spontaneous healings from things that the medical people say you can't heal. Well, they're doing it. And it's neat because when I first got into this work a couple years ago, these spontaneous healings were happening, but now 3 years later, they're happening more rapidly. And like I said, all this is going into the field, or the consciousness field. It's like the 1 minute mile, or 5 minute mile, where, oh, this person just did it. It's possible. So why can't I do it? Well, that's what's happening in this healing world where, oh, well, he walked and they said he would never be able to walk. Well, then I probably can too. And then this guy walks, and then this guy's walking now, and this guy's walking. And it's crazy. We are so freaking powerful, and there is evil out there in this world that has been trying to dub us down, to think that we're born with sin, to think that we're bad, and suppress us. They're suppressing us with the food, with the vaccines, with the crap they spray in the air and put in the water. I mean, they're trying to downregulate us because they are scared of our full potential. But I do believe that, a new leaf is turning and it's unstoppable. The frequency of the planet is rising. More and more information like this is being spread. So more people are waking up to their divinity, to realizing their true capacity on what they can do and what's possible. Like, there's all this dormant DNA we have. Like, some people are starting to activate it. Like, we are so powerful and we can heal ourselves and we can do so much more. And I believe within the next few years, like, this is just going to be the norm. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm really excited. But until then, if you're having a health condition, you want a mystical experience, or you just want to better your life, Dr. Joe's meditations. They're intense because he's kind of yelling at you through the music, but you get used to it. You'll most likely stay awake if you sit up and do it. And they're just wonderful. I've not heard of many people that have had a bad experience. If they had a bad experience, it's because they didn't understand what was happening and they were releasing trauma, which doesn't feel great, right? All right, well, if you made it to the end of the video, I would love to hear from you. Drop a heart, a comment. Let me know, if what your challenges are. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. I am here for you. I just want to help as many people as I can, because I do believe that if I can change your life and then you can change somebody else's life, like, this is going to compound and it's just a happier world to live in, right? So best of luck in your life and many blessings. Love you.